you can only now do three posts, etc. If they are selecting to hide the promotional post, they might not see it at all. So be aware of this, because if you're creating these sort of posts a lot and they're not getting engagement, it could be because people are hiding the promotional posts. All right, so what else could OnlyFans do to combat spam? All right, so it's likely they could crack down even more. And I would say that DMs is especially where they might crack down, especially on mass DMs. The ability to just send messages out to as many people as possible. So they might start to limit not just the links that you can put into these mass DMs. They might just say that, there's a limit of X amount. And if I was to do it intelligently, I would tie it to the amount of fans and subscribers that you have. Although they might decide to do it on a blanket, 50, and that's it, no matter who it is. But obviously there's people who have 10,000, 20,000 fans. So it would be hard to implement unless they did it in a system where it was tied, like, if you have 10 subscribers, you can message, 5. If you have 10,000, you can do 5,000, something like that. There could just be, they could use like the Twitter rules, and just pick random thousands of numbers where it's usually like 2,000. So very few accounts have any chance of, needing to message more than 2,000, that kind of thing. But that's where they could start to crack down more. And as I mentioned, you can now be reported for spamming. But if people as usually happens, whatever hole is painted over, a new one emerges. So people will then say, okay, I can't mark it here. I'm going to go into the DMs, and they're going to start to make the DMs worse. And then they'll have to crack down on the DMs, if you're following me. All right, and next I'd say they could discontinue free pages that the only activity on them is promotion. So what I mean here is that they could have some sort of system in place where you have to actually post on your free page for it to continue to exist. For a lot of people, they just turn them into hollow graveyards of promotion or total graveyards. I have a feeling that in the future they'll come back and say, hey, we don't really even feel like hosting these pages anymore if they're just going to be sitting there. So they definitely could, say that a page has to, post X amount of posts or pictures or polls, to continue being, on the site, or a ratio of promotion to, normal posts. However they would look at it. But that would be something I could see if they continue to wanting to crack down on spam issues. Okay, so how do you as a creator avoid running afoul of these rules? So most creators are not bad apples, but those who are have spoiled the bunch, like the saying says. So for most people, I would say you're not going to hit a lot of these limits. They are there to prevent abusers. You might run into a day, along the way where you're like, boy, I wish, the limit was a little higher because I'm having a great day, or I really want to get this promotion out. But in most cases, you're not going to hit these limits. And I would just make sure to avoid all on-site promotional schemes. Don't, go right into working with people who are going to do promotional drops or mass drops or anything out to wide audiences. Again, most of the time, it's better than nothing. I'll say that. I've made the analogy before in the podcast to general keyword terms. In search marketing, as I mentioned before, I come from a search marketing background. So as much as you want to own the term book, yes, someone might buy your book on gardening that you just wrote if you were to show up number 1 tomorrow on Google for a book. Like, you're going to sell something, like, congratulations. But how many people are you going to sell? Very few. You're much, more likely to sell one gardening book. And, if your book was on indoor gardening, again, even better. You're going to get more and more audience. So when people do these mass drop DMs out to these audiences, who knows who they are? Yes, they're on OnlyFans. That's what we know about them. They've selected a free page. We know that about them. That's it. Like, you're really not targeting your audience. And as I said, it's better than nothing. It's better than not being seen at all. But how many people are going to buy your indoor gardening book when you rank number one for, book? Very few. It's better than nothing, but it's much better if you actually do your own work and build your own organic growth around your own niche and bring in those kind of clients to you. And as I mentioned in the last episode, working with small groups now who also are within your niche and promoting each other could now work better, because people are going to see less promotion than they used to. And when they do see promotion, it's likely going to be from creators who really actually want to support other creators who are in their own niche. And that's going to be people who are more likely to actually want to buy and subscribe to your OnlyFans page. So there's going to be very few instances where normal promotion will hit the numbers that I mentioned. So for most people who are promoting right now, you're not going to have a lot of issues with this. So you're probably not going to run afoul of these rules. And, lastly, just remember you are in a community and try to avoid things that will hurt it. Think of OnlyFans like your town or your city. Like, don't do things that could possibly jeopardize things for everyone else. No matter how good of an idea it might just not be worth it. Because what's happening now is, as I mentioned, people who are, just going on with their normal day trying to promote could run into some of these issues because of the bad apples. So try to not do bad apple activity yourself. And, if you feel like something is a little wrong that you're doing, don't do it. You can always tell. You can always say, okay, wait, should I send this message out to blanket amounts of people who don't care about my OnlyFans? If the answer should always be no. The answer should always be spend your time working and building your brand, spend your time marketing, spend your time talking to other people, other creators, possible subscribers, all a better use of your time than just throwing a Hail Mary pass out there and hoping that somebody catches it. And, just one more point to make, OnlyFans is starting to grow up as a channel, and it's best to grow up with it. So for a lot of people, they're saying, oh, these rules, I'm going to this next, the next site. Well, just think about it. Once the next site gets big enough or has enough people on it, they'll change their rules too. For all things, they are the Wild West when they first start and are first successful, because you want to get as many people into your system as possible. And then it comes to a point where they need you more than you need them. And I've gone over that with Facebook, that, the reason why most OnlyFans creators can't, succeed on Facebook and Instagram promotion, at least promoting what, they actually do on OnlyFans, is because Facebook doesn't need them. So as time goes on, OnlyFans is going to look and say, we've got 100 million subscribers. Yes, they can go to this other site that has, and even maybe if they're doing gangbusters, they have 1 million, but likely they're going to have less than 100,000 users, things like that. Okay, let them go ahead over to there. They'll come back. And as I said, those systems, if they do become successful, they're going to stop being the Wild West and they're going to start having law and order as well. So these sort of things are helpful to the community. They are maturing a site that will make it more likely for people to come in and spend their money. The nicer, a place is, whether it's a mall or a casino, people will spend their money when they go in if it's nice inside. And that's what OnlyFans wants to be. It has a while to go with some of its glitches and issues and just the site itself, but hopefully they're working on that as well. But they want to make sure that it's a nice site that's not filled with, just spam and spammy promotion. All right, well, that was following OnlyFans' new anti-spam rules. My name is Richard Lewis. I am the founder of OnlyFans Hero and the Learn OnlyFans Marketing 101 course on Udemy. You can find this podcast on Instagram at OnlyFans Secrets Podcast. And you can find us as well on Reddit at r/OnlyFans Secrets, which is a marketing community on Reddit, as well as we are on OnlyFans itself at onlyfans.com/OnlyFans Hero, where you can subscribe and follow us for free to, get the latest updates on this podcast. We are also on TikTok at OF Secrets Podcast, as well as always being on Twitter at OnlyFans Hero, which is a popular promotion on Twitter for free for OnlyFans creators. We run promotions every hour and almost to the point of 2 an hour at this point, and continuing to optimize that those posts to get as many people in, many eyeballs as possible for the creators and their posts. So please, hop on there and take advantage of that. Continue to grow by 500 followers every day, both subscribers and creators. And lastly, you can reach out to me at OnlyFans Hero on Twitter if you have any questions about the podcast, questions about OnlyFans itself, or if you have any questions for our Sunday Secrets episode, just let me know. It's fine to utilize your question in our episode, and I will answer it that way. All right, well, I really appreciate you guys listening. As always, if you have an opportunity to leave a review for this podcast, please do so. Please continue to subscribe and to follow this podcast and listen every day. It means a lot, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.